Well, marine and blue economy is getting a lot of attention at this time, thanks to President Bola Tinubu's move to create a ministry for it. So, of course, we expect to hear more news, more movement, and more progress from that sector in the coming days. Now, let's go to the Securities and Exchange Commission, which is set to hold the second Capital Market Committee meeting in 2023. The meeting starts tomorrow, the 24th, and ends on 25th August, the 25th, that's on Friday. Implementation of the revised Capital Market Master Plan, Fintech, and Commodities Trading Ecosystem Roadmap, as well as other matters relating to the capital markets and economy, were some of the areas that the meeting will focus on. To tell us more about this, in preparation for that, we have Dr. K. Umeanu. He's the Chief Economist, Securities and Exchange Commission. Joins us from Accra, Ghana this time. Thank you so much, Dr. Umeanu, and welcome to the program.
Good morning, Nini. Thank you for having me.
So again, you're having this second meeting. I must ask, what are some of the implemented actions from the first meeting?
Oh, thank you, Ini. As you know, and you rightly said, we are implementing aspects of the Capital Market Master Plan. We have started to do a lot in the area of non-interest capital markets, in the commodities market. If you look at the numbers coming out of our market now, you will see that there's a big jump in activity in those two areas. You can also see that we are sort of weathering the storm. You can see the market has returned about 27%, the equities market has returned about 27% already this year. And all these are, owing to all the efforts being made by capital market participants, the SEC and other people in the market towards making the market better. We've also set up rules around crowdfunding, making it easy for SMEs to, join the market. So we are seeing a bit of activity there. We also have our two derivatives exchanges now, the CCPs, trading derivatives. So there's a lot that has happened between April and now. So we're meeting tomorrow and Friday to, count what has happened and forge the way forward, especially in this new, with this new administration, this new dispensation.
We've also had some activities, and I see it's one of your conversations for the meeting on the Commodities Exchange. Now we have the Lagos State Commodities Exchange, we have AFEX, at least we know those two. How active are they, and how easy or difficult is access in and out of this exchange?
Thank you, Ini. That's a good question. The commodities part of our market is actually becoming more active by the day. It's growing. You named a couple of exchanges, but we have a total of 5 exchanges in that area, all doing different kinds of things. We have the LCFE that you talked about, trading gold and planning crude oil futures. We have the FX doing a lot of, agricultural products, and solid minerals, which, by the way, is an area where Nigeria needs to really focus. So it's coming to the question of access. It's very easy. These firms have programs that target investors. They have, just get on their websites, you'll see how to subscribe, to trade on those exchanges. They've made it quite easy. They have apps that help you to access. So I call on Nigerians to really, really take a look at that commodities part of the market. It helps to, diversify from what you already have, and it's a growth area.
So I hear about that, the investors part, because a lot of Nigerians who would even know to invest in the commodities exchange are enlightened, maybe stay in the urban areas. What about the suppliers of the commodities, like the farmers, the communities where this gold and other commodities are? How involved are they? I mean, what's the link? We know that, a lot of them are still in the rural areas and need a lot of help when it comes to all this websites and all of that.
Ini, that's the interesting part. The commodities part of the market is touching the rural areas even more than the traditional equities and bond parts. The commodities exchanges go into the interlands, meet with farmers, provide financing for crop production, and then help to get off takers for it. So really, they have impacted the production, the agricultural production ecosystem. They're also going to be supporting mining of minerals, of the solid minerals. So I would say that they are even more in touch with the rural dwellers, the rural part of our economy than even the traditional markets we have known. So that's ongoing, and that's why the SEC is supporting them. The SEC is doing all it can to support that segment of the market, because we believe that segment will touch not just the middle class, but even the lower class of our economy.
So I know we talk a whole lot. In fact, after you were going to speak with AFEX and some of their programs, because I'm just wondering, how much of a plow back do you have from the exchange into communities? Thank God we do have Mr. Dele Alake now, who is, very out there and enlightened, heading the Ministry of Solid Minerals. And then when it comes to agriculture, we still have a whole lot of farmers who need help financially, who need enlightenment. I'm thinking, how much of an impact, apart from just making profit, getting their supplies, do these exchanges plow back into the source that gives them the commodities?
Thank you, Ini. Remember that what the exchange does is to facilitate that exchange from the producer to the final user. So the exchange provides a platform that brings these two parties together. And that platform is very, very important. Because one thing is to produce, another thing is to get it to whoever will buy it or use it. So what the exchange does is to attract capital from investors and pass on that capital to the source of production. That's the farmers, the miners, and other people like that, so that they can produce. So in doing that, they're already plowing back. They're already putting back a lot of resources into production. So, and this is the way to go. In every market, in the news we're reading just before this interview, you talked about the Malaysian palm market. And this is exactly the model. You have the exchanges there attracting capital, attracting funding from investors, and passing on this funding to production, raising the production, making things that were not possible, and then creating wealth. And everybody is happy, the producer, the exchange, and the investor. So that's what the exchange is doing. So the job of the exchange, what they wake up to do every day is to plow back, is to put in that money into production.
So what else are we expecting you to do? Sounds like the Commodities Exchange is doing so good. What else will the meeting be discussing concerning the Commodities Exchange?
The meeting will be discussing how the capital market will work with this administration to change the lot of Nigeria. We know that our budget cannot fund our infrastructure gap, cannot bridge our infrastructure gap, and we believe that the capital market is well positioned to do this. We are positioning the market to be able to provide the much needed infrastructure we need for our government, for our country to move forward. For our economy to develop, there are some basic infrastructure we need on ground. We need to work, and the capital market is positioned to do that. So this meeting would be discussing how we can present the capital market as one of the areas, or if not the most viable area through which government can achieve its objectives. Secondly, we are hoping that the capital market will be used as we discuss the sale of national assets like the NMBC and all that. We are hoping that the capital market will be used because we believe that disposal of these assets through the capital market, it helps everyone. It makes Nigerians to own these things that belong to Nigeria. It gives Nigerians a sense of ownership. It provides capital for development, provides capital for growth. So we know that the capital market is positioned for this, and we are going to meet and talk about how we can, harness this opportunity that the capital market, present it to the government, present it to all the stakeholders, and let the capital market, contribute in the way it's supposed to. And let me give you an example. Today, the capital market is about 37% of the GDP of Nigeria. Compare that to South Africa, over 300%. We are looking at where the capital market will grow and contribute so much so that maybe in the next 5 years, we're at 100%. And the capital market is really able to take the position it's supposed to take in an economy like ours.
Interesting. And I also see as part of your agenda, Fintech. What's the capital market doing with Fintech?
Okay, for Fintech, we see it as a growth area. I must tell you that Fintech makes everything more efficient. Be it payments, be it funds like we have in the market, be it trade, and investment in bonds, in equities, in derivatives. Fintech makes everything easier. So we have embraced it. We have set up programs within the SEC to encourage it because we believe that it's a new frontier. We also are using Fintech as a way to change the demography of participants in the market. Presently, the demography is quite gray. We have a very old, about 50. That's the average age of the investor we have now in the market. But we think that the young people can be brought in through Fintech. Many of them don't yet understand that the capital market provides opportunity for wealth creation over time. So these are things we want to do with Fintech. And that's why we have set up special programs for Fintech. We have set up a Fintech and Innovation Office to guide any Fintech that wants to operate in the market. We have set up rules, several rules, to make it easy for Fintechs to operate in our market.
I wonder if the SEC has a new stance on cryptocurrency.
Okay, what we have is already on our website. We have rules around, we call them digital assets, But, when it comes to cryptocurrency, currencies, let's remember that in blockchain technology, there are a lot of uses. Currency, money is just a part of it. Remember also that the central bank has not supported it. So we stand with the central bank on that, but we have made rules for anyone who wants to engage in things around blockchain technology. And these rules are not restrictive, they are open, and we're ready to explain to anybody who has a project that wants to, do that project through using blockchain technology. That's why we have that Fintech and Innovation Office.
All right, so before we let you go, Dr. Umeanu, Nigerians a lot of times have lost interest in the meetings and the gatherings because we have more talks than words. We have more policies than implementation. So how can SEC gain more trust or attention of Nigerians to assure us that this meeting is not just a meeting of talks, but will end up with implementation?
You can see that our previous meetings have yielded fruit. Just take a look at our market today. 27% so far this year. The bond market, 7%. The commodities market doing well. So our meetings are not just talk shops. We meet, we decide things, and we implement them. So I'm sure that by the next CMC meeting, when I come around for an interview again, you'll be asking me about what has happened between now and November, and I'll be able to list things. So the meeting of the capital market is not a talk show. It's a meeting where we say things and we do those things. So I want to assure Nigerians that this is not something like that. This is something that will yield fruits. And I want to especially say that the capital market will support government. Remember that we're also having a bit of some issues with FX now. We believe that the capital market can attract foreign direct investment that will help, foreign portfolio and foreign direct investment, both of them, that will help to ease these FX pressures. So we believe that the capital market will provide part of the solution that is needed to the problem we have. So our meetings are not just talk shop. We talk, we plan, we implement, and there are results to show.
Yeah, well, you know that if there's anything predictable about me, I will ask you the implementation from this meeting. Well, thank you so much for your time, Chief Economist of Securities and Exchange Commission, Dr. Umeanu. And have a great meeting.
Thank you.
All right, certainly those numbers that Dr. Umeanu mentioned, Aneti Edet will give an elaborate version during the market segment. But for now, we talked about FX and commodities trading on the exchange. You know them, they will be here after this break.